Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea news, Chelsea transfer news as well. Lots popping off that we need to be updated about, but we need to start things off from Cole Palmer. What is happening with his injury? That is the most important factor right now. And then obviously we'll talk about all those shenanigans in terms of transfer news. And Nkunku latest as well. We've got Anselmino, Chukwuemeka, all of that nonsense with Dortmund. We're going to talk about that. But first, Cole Palmer. Then we've got the news in regards to Cucurella and Estevao Willian as well. But we kick things off from Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, he pulled out of the match yesterday against West Ham. He was warming up and then he felt something and he decided that, look, it's probably not good to continue on. And as a precautionary measure, he moved out of the team and Estevao entered into the team and started. So what has happened to Cole Palmer? Well, Maresca said post-match, it's Cole's right groin. Let's see in the next hours. So we haven't heard anything over the last 24 hours after the match is finished, but we know that it's something to do with his right groin. Maresca, Cole played against Palace, not 100%. He made a big effort for the club and fans in that game. So, look, I know it's precautionary. I know he's, he missed out on West Ham. And overall, it doesn't look entirely serious. But I have to say, when it's the groin area, yeah, I'm not sure whether things can just, happen straight away and they can, jump back into the team immediately. I was hoping that Cole Palmer is going to be available against Fulham. That's our next game. But when it's issues in the groin, yeah, I don't think they just disappear so quickly. And the fact that he's feeling something, you just don't want to take any, any rash decision. You just don't want to take any chances because, yeah, now you're feeling something. Maybe over the week he might feel a little bit better, but before you know it, you didn't rest enough, you didn't recuperate properly, and then it becomes a serious thing. So I don't think personally that you can just get better straight away. Maybe he might be off a couple of weeks, maybe because I think after the Fulham game it is the international break. No, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. I could be wrong, but maybe it's wise that he takes proper break, proper rest, really recovers from this, and then comes back very strong. The last thing I want is this player to be out for an extensive period of time. We need him. Yes, we have proved that we can play without him. The team has shown mad mentality, mad grit, but this guy is still my most important player. I know a lot of people will say the same thing. Cole Palmer is the most important player at Chelsea Football Club. So let's see. That's my thought. Anyone who has a little bit of idea about groin injury, let me know. Is it that easy to just come back? But that is the latest that Maresca said post-match. We shall wait and see for further news on this throughout the week. Next up, Marc Cucurella. Yes, new contract is done. I'm very happy. The club gave me the confidence and I'm very happy to be here. Hopefully, I will have a great year coming from BBC via Spanish media. I love this, man. I said this on the watch-along yesterday that, do you know what? From where his story was, he was moments away from being sold. He was moments away from going to Man United. I'm so glad whoever made the decision, I'm pretty sure it's him, plus whoever else convinced him to stay at Chelsea Football Club. I'm so glad that he did stay because look what has turned out to be. After that, it wasn't as if he was integrated into the team immediately. Pochettino started to play him right in the final 6, 7 matches where he played so well, being in that inverted position. Then he goes on to Euros, absolutely has a glamorous Euros, ends up winning the Euros with Spain. And then the rest is history. Becomes a very important player for Maresca. We won we got Champions League qualification. We won the Conference League, won the Club World Cup, and he has been an immense player for us, one of the most important player for Enzo Maresca. And he went through a lot of hardship in the early stages under Thomas Tuchel as well. With Thomas Tuchel, he was only there for a short time, Cucurella, and then he got sacked. And then Graham Potter came in, and you'd think that Graham Potter, knowing Cucurella back in Brighton days, but it just wasn't working out. He was rash in his defending. I remember the day still when we signed Cucurella. I was over the moon. I was singing. You guys can still check out that video if you want to. It's there live. There was a lot of people watching live, and I was singing. I think it was a Celine Dion song as well. And yeah, I saw the player that I saw in Brighton, and he wasn't having a good time that first season. He was robbed as well. Then there was personal issues. But I'm so glad to see what an inspirational story. If there is a young kid that is thinking, there's so much adversities in this game, just look at Marc Cucurella as an example and look how he has bounced back. Amazing. Deserves a new contract. First of its kind under this new ownership, I have to say, a player that is above 25 years old and well above 25 years old and, gets a contract renewal. I'm pretty sure it's probably a better contract than the last one. He was already on good wages. He's not one of those players that was brought in with that 150K cap. He was brought in prior to that. And I think, one of the very first signings of Todd Bowley, when Todd Bowley was acting as a sporting director or chairman and this, that, the other. And this is the first time under this current ownership that we are seeing someone get a new contract and, rightly deserved. Absolutely deserved. So big up to Cucurella for getting that. And we'll see down the track what other players ends up getting this new contract renewal. So big up to Cucurella for that. Now, excuse me, Maresca on Esteval. We conceded the goal because he lost the ball in the build-up, but he needs these mistakes to learn. Overall, he impressed. Look, I'm so happy Maresca has come out and said that. Don't get me wrong. Robert Sanchez is definitely a culprit for that goal that we conceded against Paqueta, because Robert Sanchez was in no man's land and he was awkward. He's trying to, parry it on with his, I don't know, I think it was his right hand. He was just in a bad position. He should have done better. But I said it in the live watch along and I said it in my post-match review as well. There's a lot that we could have done to not concede that goal against Paqueta. We could have done a lot to prevent that goal. And it all starts from Esteval. Esteval, where he picked up the ball, which was definitely on our half, but a little bit deeper on our half as well, And he did the back heel, which, then he lost the ball. There's no need to do the back heel flick pass in that zone, because when you lose the ball in that zone, the opposition doesn't really have to go too much forward to create chaos, and that's exactly what has happened. He did a similar thing on West Ham side, which was fine when he did that back heel flick pass, but because we were so far deep in West Ham's half, it didn't create a mess. So this is something that Esteval Willian will learn. Definitely, he's a young player. He's going to make mistakes, and he'll learn from it. And this is the best way to learn. It would be great if we didn't get punished for it. That would be massive. But this is the Premier League. You will get punished. And on top of that, look, it doesn't just stop with Esteval. After that, no one really, closed down Paqueta either. So there was multiple errors there, errors from Esteval Willian, and then errors from a team collectively not, closing down Paqueta. And of course, Robert Sanchez plays the last error as well, and he should have done a lot better. Now, next up, ladies and gentlemen, transfer news. Carney plus Anselmino to Dortmund is progressing. This has been the hot news earlier on today, UK time. 21.7 million package pounds plus sell-on for Carney, while Anselmino will be a loan with no buy option. Fantastic. Dortmund bosses Kell and Ricken traveled to the UK for negotiations, now back in Germany. Look, great. Why not? Fabrizio Romano tweeted something similar as well, but Fabrizio was saying 20 million euros deal for Carney Chukwuemeka, but Patrick Berger over here is saying that the package is 21.7 million plus sell-on. So there's a heavy sell-on. I don't mind the package 1B, 21.7 million for Carney Chukwuemeka, a player that we haven't been utilized. Still a quality player, but sorry state of affairs with Chelsea Football Club. It just didn't work out. Injuries played a big part. He's always wanted to go to Dortmund. Dortmund always wanted Carney Chukwuemeka, and hopefully this is now very close. That is the latest. That is very close. 21.7 million package. I love it. Heavy sell-on clause. If and when Carney Chukwuemeka gets sold again down the track, if he has a stellar season at Dortmund, which I hope he does, and then wherever he goes, whoever he goes to, hopefully we can make more money out of it. And then on top of that, Anselmino. I think this will be a very, very good loan spell for Anselmino to Dortmund, and I hope he does play. I truly hope that he does play. I hope that it's not one of those cases where he goes on loan and he barely features. So hopefully Dortmund does utilize Anselmino and develops him into the defender that we know he can be, and he needs all of that exposure in the European highest level. And Dortmund will be in the Champions League and in the Bundesliga. Yeah, look, as much as I don't rate the Bundesliga that much, but hopefully that experience will help Anselmino a lot. So watch this space. I think this will probably happen over the next couple of days. I'm guessing this is getting closer and closer to finalizing. Next up, this was the big news that has happened over the last couple of hours. Breaking: Aston Villa made call last 24 hours for Nkunku. Nicholas Jackson deal is difficult for them. Look, Nicholas Jackson deal seems to be very difficult for everyone. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. Excuse me. Coming from Fabrizio Romano. And Fabrizio Romano is the one that's been talking about Nicholas Jackson leaving Chelsea Football Club. So I still believe Nicholas Jackson will leave Chelsea Football Club. But yes, the price seems to be a bit of a problem for a lot of these teams. I'm pretty sure sooner or later we are going to come to a conclusion. Maybe it might be a loan. Maybe it might be a loan with a good fee and then an obligation. But now Aston Villa are looking at Nkunku. Aston Villa, they're in the mud, man. They just lost as well earlier today against Brentford. Brentford's a team that is going to be fighting in the relegation zone, and Brentford beat them. Yes, Brentford at home, but Brentford's been demolished. Thomas Frank has left. Thomas Frank now doing madness with Spurs. Mbeumo has left, and Nordgaard has left to Arsenal. Wissel seems like he wants to leave as well. So Brentford, they've been demolished, and for them to beat Aston Villa, that's quite massive. That really is quite massive. So Aston Villa are in the mud. Nkunku, honestly, is not a bad player. There's still a lot of good quality about Nkunku. Yes, of course, in the Premier League, it hasn't worked out. It hasn't worked out at Chelsea. Physicality seems to be a problem. But it looked like just in the final few months with Chelsea, it just looked like maybe Nkunku was finding his feet, with the Premier League settings and whatnot. I know it was Club World Cup, but maybe he might do something in Aston Villa. So if Aston Villa, if they feel that maybe Nkunku is a better option for them, why not? But someone needs to go. In fact, both of them needs to go, or else I think the Xavi Simons deal looks a little bit shady right now. But this is the latest, once again, from Fabrizio Romano. He can't stop talking about Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho and Xavi Simons are patiently waiting for Chelsea to give them the green light. Nkunku and Jackson must go in the final week of the window. There we go. We're now into the final week of the window, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like Garnacho and Simons' future relies on Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson to leave. So Chelsea want both of these players, which means Nkunku and Jackson have to leave. It's a must. They got to go. We'll see. It'll be a mad run till the end of the transfer window. But there's a lot of rumors. People are saying that maybe Nkunku leaves and Jackson doesn't, which then means Garnacho is probably going to come through and Simons doesn't. Can you imagine if that happens? I'll be a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to lose my mind. We do need Xavi Simons. We need, a little bit more. We've got a lot of good attacking threat. Don't get me wrong. We've got a lot of quality there, but Simons obviously elevates us a little bit more. I don't think Garnacho actually really elevates us that much. Simons does, in my personal opinion. So if that happens, where Nkunku goes, Garnacho comes in, and Jackson ends up staying, and we don't get Simons, that might be a little bit sticky situation, because Jackson seems to be out of favor. How do you integrate him back into the team? You look at the bench. Who misses out on the bench? Garnacho is going to be coming through as well. It's going to be very difficult. Every single match week, someone is missing out from the bench, and that is that could be a sticky situation for Enzo Maresca. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about, especially in regards to Cole Palmer. How much of a miss is he going to be? Do you expect him to miss out on few weeks as well? Let me know in the comment section. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.